week 7 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few wide receivers. I have his sleepers this week. The first receiver, Michael Wilson of the Arizona Cardinals. Regardless if Marvin Harrison plays or not in this game, Michael Wilson, he's got a starting role in this lineup, and now 3 out of 4 weeks he's had double-digit fantasy points in PPR leagues. Still available in 83% of leagues. Week 3 versus Detroit, 8 catches, 64 yards, 9 targets. Week 4 versus the Commanders, 3 catches, 38 yards, a fumble loss. Week 5 at the Niners, 5 catches, 78 yards. And week 6 at the Packers, 2 catches, 21 yards, and a touchdown. So this week, not a great matchup versus the Chargers. They give up the third least amount of fantasy points to receivers on the season. But Michael Wilson definitely has a good rapport building with Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray, he spreads that football out at times. We know Trey McBride's there, Marvin Harrison, like I said. But to be honest, Michael Wilson the last 3 weeks has been more consistent than Marvin Harrison Jr. in this offense. So like I said, him and Murray are getting things going. And right now, still a sleeper option in my opinion. This week is Michael Wilson. Wade Calhoun, his next sleeper, Demario Douglas of the New England Patriots. So Douglas, just like Michael Wilson, the last 3 out of 4 weeks as well, for him, double-digit fantasy points in PPR leagues. And he looks like he's operating as the number 1 wide receiver in this Patriot offense. Still out there, surprisingly, in 70% of fantasy leagues. But if he goes out there and has another nice game this week, he's going to be owned in easily over 50% of leagues. Is Douglas. Week 3 at the Jets, 7 catches, 69 yards, a rush, 9 yards. Week 4 at the Niners, 3 catches, 13 yards. Week 5 versus the Dolphins, 6 catches, 59 yards in that one. And week 6 versus Houston, a big game, 6 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. So week 7, like I said, Jacksonville and London give up the second most fantasy points to wideouts on the season. We saw Keenan Allen last week, 5 for 41 and 2 touchdowns, where he didn't do anything all season long and had his biggest game versus Jacksonville's secondary. So I think Douglas could go out there once again and put in a good performance. And the third and final wideout I have as a sleeper this week, Rashad Bateman of the Baltimore Ravens, out there in 88% of fantasy leagues. And he's definitely getting an expanded role of late, and he's been healthy, which has been the main part for Bateman, where he's been banged up over the last few seasons. So 3 out of 4 games as well for him with double-digit fantasy points. Week 3 at the Cowboys, 3 catches, 28 yards, a touchdown. Week 4 versus Buffalo, a catch, 23 yards. Week 5 at Cincinnati, 4 catches, 58 yards, and he found the end zone. And week 6 versus the Commanders, 4 catches, 71 yards. So this week in a potential shootout, and a Tampa Bay secondary that just isn't that good, giving up the 6th most fantasy points to wide receivers on the season. I think Bateman, he could be useful in deeper leagues, like those 14, 16-team leagues, or even leagues where you play multiple flexes throughout your starting lineup. So Bateman, more in the offense over the last few weeks, and he's been healthy this season, and he's had some impacts. That's a few wide receivers I have as sleepers for week 7 of the fantasy football season.